now going to cut away to a short interview with Dr. Charles Wallig, truly one of the greatest experts on Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Sacred Image, and Juan Diego. He's the author of the book on Juan Diego and also the handbook on Guadalupe. Dr. Wallig and his wife spent 17 years researching the sacred image of Guadalupe, the image that still confounds scientists today, because as this image appeared on the cloak of Juan Diego, and the cloak was made of cactus fiber, and cactus fiber normally deteriorates within 20, 25 years. It is still intact, hanging in a shrine in Guadalupe since 1531. And now Dr. Wallig is going to cut away to our conversation with him, talking about the imagery that they discovered in the eye of the sacred image of Guadalupe, and also the material and the process that Kodak thinks it is. I'll be right back.
Of course, another thing too, Helen Behrens, who was the greatest expert on the sacred image in the early part of this century, had three executives of the Kodak de Mexico come up and examine it thoroughly at one time in 1963, and their conclusions was that the picture itself also simulates a modern color photograph just as we have it today, in the sense that the picture is like a film on the cloth, and that you scrape the film off, and you'd have the cloth left there intact as it was before the picture appeared on it, just like a photograph is a solution on a paper or cloth, and if you remove the solution, you just have the paper or the cloth left. Whereas painting, for instance, you have to size the cloth, and even then it sinks in. So where there's a slit in the image here and down here, you can see the cloth, the same sort of off-white cloth that it was before the picture was imprinted on it. So you see, who knew how to
at that time to
make
a photographic process.
Color photograph.
They were saying Kodak, people, scientists
decided that. And then, of course, we discovered three reflections in the right eye, and not so clear in the left eye in 1962. And from the analysis of which we were able to also have another way of determining that it was a supernatural origin. And who knew about eye reflections was a part of every photograph of every person at that time, when it couldn't be captured, so to speak, until the invention of the camera, which was about 350 years later. And who knew about the actual technical validity of eye reflections until Baron von Helmholtz wrote his great work on the science of the eye in 1880, where for the first time he described the technical validity of reflections in the human eye. So you see, it has to be, who else could have been but our divine Lord, who knew all those things and was able to create a simulation of our modern...
So the more science research,
it's one thing.
Confirms.
It's one. Another thing is rather unique about it. It's the one outstanding religious element. The more scientific investigations of it, the more it
confirms it.
Yes, the more it displays itself as a valid supernatural creation, as the scientists call it. Which also makes it unique in that respect, too.
Dr. Charles Wallig, truly an expert on the sacred image of Guadalupe,